Hello everybody, it's me again. It's the same day as my last one. I've just I should just check the it's Saturday, the last one in June. Could have just checked the date, couldn't I? If you want, you can say that idiot, he didn't know even what day it was. Didn't check it before I started doing this. Oh, my little dog. Now then, the last one, as you'll noticed if you watched, I lost my temper talking about Jim Gamble. So I'm following it up quickly. This video is I want to tell you what's coming up. You know that I've demanded from Jim Gamble that he writes to me and tells me, justifies his opinion of the McCanns are innocent as a policeman, and then justifies his involvement in child protection agencies. Is that a kind of a guilt trip thing? Is it? But then when he went and did that thing on June the 4th, I think it went up on Facebook, being on this morning, that's shameful, isn't it, Mr. Gamble? So let's just predict something here. If this German guy doesn't cooperate with the prosecutors, and he's not at the moment, he might well find himself suicided any day now, and that will be the end of that story. Look, isn't it? The end of the story. And then Germans, who, let's just remember that networks of evil permeate everywhere. They do. And they're just combined to one place. And we've got historic links with Germany. For instance, our royal family was German, weren't they? Our German changed the names to Windsor from whatever it was. Make them sound more English. Look, I've got to talk now about good and evil. I'll tell you what's coming up. I'm going to be writing letters to Richard Branson, and I will be asking him, why did you support the McCanns? And unless I get a reasonable answer, I will be boycotting all of your products. I'll never fly Virgin, I'll never go on a Virgin train, I'll never buy Virgin Media or get a Virgin loan, unless he comes and tells me with a sensible answer to explain why he supported the McCanns when all of the evidence was stacked against them. Sensible answer, I want. Now, the second thing is, so I'll encourage everybody else to do the same, because these are the people who aid the McCanns, Richard Branson. I'll also be writing to Prince Andrew, who called the McCanns inspirational parents. So, dear Prince Andrew, Prince Andrew. Or what aspect of the McCanns' behaviour towards their children inspired you? Please explain. I'm searching for an explanation, because right now in my head I'm thinking that you were friends with Epstein, who suicided himself in prison just before the FBI got to. I've got to talk to Prince Andrew. You're still ducking that, aren't you? You're waiting for a closure on something, maybe. Prince Charles, I'll write to you and ask you, why did you support the McCanns on your website in the summer where everything was going bad for them? Clarence Mitchell couldn't keep a bill. Now, I have, firstly, for the people who support the McCanns, I'm not going to talk about it. I'm not going to discuss it with you. If you don't know, if you can't see that the McCanns are guilty of hiding the body, of killing Madeline, probably, almost certainly, accidentally, manslaughter with an overdose of sedative. If you're not aware of that, just take your head out of the mirror and the sun and the other shit rags and the Daily Mail and do a little bit of basic research. That's all you've got to do. There is no evidence at all, nil, of an abduction. None. Portuguese police have not cleared the McCanns ever, made them suspects, and then the final conclusion was that, from Mr. Amaral, the senior policeman at the time, was that Madeleine had died in the apartment due to an accident, and they had secreted her body. And we know that. We know that to be true. They know that to be true. I know that to be true. So, if you still support them, I have no truck with you. I don't even want it. I'm not even... You either haven't got the brain power, or you can't be bothered. In either case, fuck off out of my life. I don't need you. For the rest of us with IQs in treble figures, it is totally and utterly clear that Scotland Yard were not allowed to investigate. So, I kind of feel sorry for the... I'm not going to do too much abuse there. But here, now, I need to talk about God. I need to talk about good and evil. And I need to get it done quickly because I don't want people thinking I'm a religious nut. I am not religious in any way. I've looked at all religions, or a lot of them, and I haven't found any that successfully explain my place in the universe and what God is and anything. They don't. Immediately they say that there is God and He's one God and He did everything. He, male, of course. I mean, the idea that God, an all-powerful, all-knowing, all-being, has got a sex is slightly ridiculous, and it kind of indicates that, you know, it's a misogynistic sort of thing, that the people who were writing at the time were men, and the people who were the priests and whatever at the time were men, and the women really didn't get much of a say. Thank goodness now that women have got some rights, and they can contribute. So the idea that I call God Him, I've got a total belief in God, and I call Him Him because it just feels right for me. But if it's more like an it, like an information technology for you, or she for you, that doesn't matter. It's, you don't know. Anybody who says they do is making it up. They are making it up. But I wanted to give you my concept of God because I am absolutely not religious. I was brought up completely non-religious. My parents didn't push me either way. They were very good that way. You'll make your own mind up. And they answered questions as best they could. And as I grew up, I thought, well, you know, there's so much inconsistency here. And I had to have RI in school. And the stuff that Jesus said, you know, some of you here will still be here when my second coming, his second coming, not his resurrection, his second coming. Well, they were all dead and he hasn't come back yet, you know. That's his second coming, which will be, you know, people are waiting for, the rapture and all the rest. You can only go to God through Jesus. Well, it's a bit of a hook, isn't it? But the Muslims would disagree with it. So I pretty much dismissed all of it and thought, the idea that God would fuck up, like make mistakes and need to go to genocide, like Ricky Gervais says, you know, straight to genocide, straight to fucking genocide because people will die. Or pass over certain people's houses and kill the firstborn of everybody else. That makes God a psychopathic fucking murderer. It does. He's not a supreme being. He isn't. He's a nasty fucker. The Abrahamic God, isn't he? Really is. Going around raping and murdering. Well, perhaps not raping. So that's not a perfect being. That's not a being I want to be in touch with. And then I got involved in computers. And as I travelled the world, I noticed that people really did believe this, you know, rather than on the face of it. The UK is a secular place. But when you go travel to other places, Muslim countries and other places where they've got other religions, then you find that these people believe this very, very strongly indeed. It's so much so that they're prepared to go to war about it and argue about it. And I thought, well, what can it be? What can this God thing be? Can't they see that this is allegorical, all of these writings are allegorical? Can't they see that? Can't they see that it's not meant to be taken literally? Don't they understand that? And I thought, well, what can it be that it would, if there was nothing there, it would have died out. The nonsense evaporates, and in given time, and for anything to persist as it does, there has to be some kernel of truth there. And I started to wonder what this kernel of truth was all about. And as I got involved with computers, I started to program, and I thought, well, this machine does what I tell it, because I've told it here, this memory here. And I can take this memory and put it somewhere else. And that's really good, isn't it, how I can do that? In the old days, I put a floppy disk in there, take that and put it in another machine. And then that machine would behave like the first machine. I thought, oh, that's good. With like minds, almost. And I would write little instructions, and it would do what I asked it to do. And then I thought, well, started thinking, well, how would it be if we could just like plug in minds, with like a cable, like a LAN cable? Where would it go? There, do you think? So that two people could transfer data between them, two people. That'd be bloody handy, wouldn't it? I wouldn't have to go to school and learn engineering and spend all my life doing it. I could just download it. I could play guitar or keys. That would be fantastic. And then I started thinking about how would it be if you had a kind of a central server that knew all of the machines, and we did plug in with cables. This was before the internet. Of course, we don't have cables anymore now, do we? We don't actually need wires. We've got Wi-Fi. Anyhow, I got to thinking, looking at a shoal of fish. You see a shoal of fish, they all move as one body, they do. Thousands and thousands of them. They all change direction at the same time, the same instant of time. There's no reaction time, they're not following a leader. People could say that they've all got this lateral line and they're all responding to an electrical impulse, but that takes time to travel to each individual fish, and then it's got to have a reaction time to the new stimulus. So, you try to do that with a group of humans, it wouldn't work. There'd be massive collisions all the time. People would be bumping into each other. Look at a flock of birds, starlings, just before they roost, they clear off the south, or wherever they go. When they roost, and then they flock, and they all are travelling as one being. They are. All the ones in the middle, they can't see the external stimulus that's making the flock move, but they're all their minds are linked. That is the only way to explain that phenomenon. It is the only way. It needs to be studied a bit more than it is. Now, if birds, okay, they're all of a feather, they're all roughly the same size, they're the same age, and they haven't got jobs, they haven't got house mortgages and stuff to worry about and kids. They're all very bird-brained, aren't they? But they have this ability to link minds. Same as a fish. They haven't got jobs either. Mortgages, stuff to worry about. So the idea that they can all move as one is not perhaps too hard to grasp, because their mind is not full of stuff and worry and stress like ours are. But I believe in nature. I do. We've evolved. We absolutely have. If you think God made us, think again, you're wrong. You are wrong. He had a hand in doing it. But when you look at nature, everything is artificial, because you can say that nature is the art of God. A very wise man told me that when I was only a schoolboy. But I've never forgotten it. Now then, that very useful ability to link minds and all react at the same time, do you think nature would discard that ability as we evolved from the fish, didn't we? Right, I won't say we evolved from the birds, they just went off a slightly different way, but we think if you go back far enough, we evolved from fish. And then we started to crawl out on that. So, nature's got this fantastic technique of linking minds, it's good. Do you think, as we develop, nature decides to discard that? No, absolutely not. My concept of God is that we're all linked. God is the collective human consciousness. It's sentient, knows it exists. And it's the good bits from all of us. It's all the good stuff from all of us, and I think probably from everybody, every human that's ever lived and ever died on the face of the earth. It kind of might explain that God was a juvenile when in the early days of Adam and Eve and Noah's Ark. He didn't know very much because humankind wasn't really very involved. So, there might be something in that he might want to be a nasty fucker, murdering psychopath. I like to think now he's developed. But he was never, ever perfect and never, ever omnipowerful and omnipresent, because if he was, there would be no point in any of this. There would be no point in any of human suffering. He could relieve it all. As Ricky Gervais says, he wouldn't need to give AIDS to babies, not all of that. He wouldn't need to do it, because he could prevent all of those things from happening. But if he did that, and everything was like Little House on the Prairie, then he wouldn't learn anything. So he needs us stressed. He needs us driven. He needs a war. He does, because in a war, there's no greater incentive for a human being to survive than looking after the children, caring for them, feeding them. And if you've got to become inventive to do that, then we can club together and do some great things. Engineering comes on in wars, vastly, We'd still be in biplanes, really, but for World War II. Maybe not, we maybe got a little bit further, but things came on leaps and bounds, and then with a new threat from elsewhere, things come on again. Striving to survive, that's what we do. And without that challenge to us, there would be no progress, and God would not increase his knowledge. Now, how long he's been around, and whether he was God of this planet, and whether he can exist where there are no humans, I don't know. This idea of quantum entanglement particles is quite interesting. That, the two particles at opposite ends of the universe are quantumly entangled. One goes that way, the other goes that way, at the same time. Now that's quite interesting. Did God come into existence? If there was no God in the universe when it was born, and I don't know, then one would have come into existence, because the universe is so old and it's full of life, whether you believe me or not, it is. It's ludicrous to suggest it's not. But these distances are so vast, they're so huge, that's why they're not knocking on our door to say hello. They might have come to say hello, I don't know, I don't want to argue about it. Is the God of those people? Or just the God of this planet? I don't know. Is there one God or thousands of them? I don't know. To say there's only one is a bit short-sighted, I think. You might be saying, there's only me, you only need to listen to me, because he's worried that there's another thing. There's a filter when you talk to God. I can talk to God, and that's how I know he's there. That's how I know now. I came to the conclusion that he absolutely could be there. In fact, then I came to the conclusion that when people pray, they're talking to him, and he must be there. He must answer. That's why they believe it, because they pray. And when they pray, And if you pray in the right way and with enough respect, like the Muslims do, that's why they don't drink alcohol, they've got to be clean and they've got to have their minds clean before they go to God. Otherwise it's an insult. So that's why they're some of the most devout people in the world. And if people tell you they're all terrorists and whatever, don't listen to them. Full of shit. I've travelled to Muslim countries, and the vast majority of them are kind, loving human beings, just the same as the rest of us want to be. Or try to be. Now then, you can only talk to God in truth. You need to filter out all the viruses and all the shit. And we've got all of that rubbish in us. We've got needs and wants and selfish ideas and all of that. And we're not as compassionate and empathic as we should be. We are all born sinners, we are. But we're all born free and we can make a choice. And I think we're given choices daily by God and, of course, the other guy, the man of wealth and taste. He might actually be easy to talk to. So you need to be careful. And you can put choices in front of you. Some are easy and some's hard. And you've got to work out who put it there. Did God put it there or did the other guy put it there? And then you need to make your choice. Because you're free. God is made of all the good things of us, and you can only talk to him in truth and purity. And he'll only do the same back to you. He'll only do the same back to you. But in the universe, everything is balanced. We get a force, and there's an opposing force. Everywhere you look, there's an opposite spin, an opposite, and matter, antimatter. Everything's got opposites, but we're in 3 dimensions as well. So there's kind of 3 things. And as we know, the universe is not static at all. We're not static, and nothing in life stays the same. Things are dynamic all the time. Now, evil has overtaken the United Kingdom. There are 112,000 children going missing every year. Now, some of them turn up, but tens of thousands don't. Disappear, gone. Some survive, some suffer sexual abuse, some suffer mental abuse, physical abuse. 1 in 5 people, apparently, in the UK is affected by that. Can you imagine how difficult it is for those people, those survivors, to relate to other people in adult life? So the knock-on effect of that is huge. If you wanted to bring a country to its knees and you've got a few years to do it, just start a paedophile ring, a bit like the Crays did. Yeah, to get leverage. They set up Elm House, didn't they? Favourite haunt of Harry Webb. He was not gay. Not gay at all. There's nothing gay about that, is it? Child rape. The BBC caved in. Zionist controlled. However, so the opposing force is evil, is the devil. Well, call it what you want, call it whatever you want. But that's made, that feeds on fear and pain and anguish. They'll be very charming and educated, and they'll tempt you. And some people fall for it. They do. And some people embrace it because the devil, if you talk to God and ask him for something, he won't give it you. If it's going to do you harm, it's going to do somebody else's harm, or you don't deserve it. They're not prepared to do anything for him. If you don't listen to him. But if you do listen and you ask him, he's there for you every single time. He never ever let you down. That's why I feel confident about this, making these videos, because I know I'm right. I've asked God about it, and he's told me. Yeah. So, I say I have his protection. And I'm taking on the evil that is pervading the top of the British establishment, polluting our nation. Now it's time. Evil, this force of evil is coming, and it's invading the UK. There needs to be a balance, there needs to be a rebalance now. We need to push back against it. We need to push back against it. Good people. The only thing that evil needs to succeed is that good people do nothing now. These good people need to stand up. We need to start writing letters to the mccanns, to Prince Charles, all those other people that I said. That's my concept of good and evil. I'm going to have to talk about it in the next videos because the explanation of the mccanns' behaviour has to include the word evil. Has to. And what they've done. And what they're involved with. They accidentally killed that child and they hid her body. We couldn't afford for a post-mortem because it would have revealed that she was being sexually abused. We know that because of the gas mask statement. Why do you think they didn't use a babysitter at that holiday place? A vetted service, professional service, cheap, or not inconsequential to two doctors' salaries, reliable. Everybody would have been vetted, would have been a top quality service at a place like that, automatically provides if they want to attract professionals. They didn't use it. Why? Because at nearly 4, Madeleine could talk and tell a stranger stuff, what was happening. How do you tell a 4-year-old child? But what's happening now, you mustn't tell anybody. It's absolutely a secret. Don't tell anyone. She could forget that, couldn't she? They couldn't allow Madeleine to be alone with a stranger. It's not that they were so protective that they didn't mind any stranger, because they let one of the others, was it Oldfield, bath the children. So they're not that stranger-centric, are they? Stranger. They're not that bothered about strangers. Coming into contact with their children. Unless they're alone, and they might spill the beans. So they couldn't use the babysitting service, but they didn't need to because she's an anaesthetist. So, Okay, this one has gone on long enough. The next ones I'm going to write to the next one up, I shall be writing to the mccanns. But you needed to know my concept of good and evil. If it turns you off, I'm sorry. That's my concept of God. I'm not pushing that on you, but that's where I think it came from. It's a kind of information technology database. Might even have been artificial, might even be machine intelligence. And that we're the odd ones out. The machine intelligence has gone out into the universe. And the machine intelligence has created us. It doesn't. Who knows? If anybody says they do, tell them to fuck off.